Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Well, we finally got us a slab poured for my new shop build. I'm really excited. It's taken about 2 weeks to get to this point after they really got started on it. So you guys have heard all the sagas, I guess, on getting this project started between weather and everything else that I've had to deal with. And getting burn permits to get the site cleared out. But once we finally got where we could get in here and start working on this, things started moving along pretty good. So it's taken about 2 weeks again to get this slab to this point. And to give you a little bit of the story of what went on during that time, and I got a little bit of video we can throw in on this throughout to kind of show you, give you a peek of what's happened. But started out, they came in on a Monday morning to come in and just kind of clean the site up. So they had to basically dig down through the topsoil to get down to some more solid ground. So here in South Georgia, where I live, we don't really have bedrock. This whole area used to be the bottom of the ocean, so we have real sandy soils, but there is some places where we have some clay in the soils, and usually if you dig down a little bit, you'll get onto some more of a clay surface, and that's what our builders like to build upon, is they like to build upon once they get to that clay layer. So when they came in here, up here at the front, it was just maybe not a foot down is all that they had to really dig out to get down to that clay layer. But as they went to the back side, the clay layer got deeper and deeper and deeper. And I know when we first started on this project, we had done some digging in here and kind of determined where that clay layer was in a couple of places and said, okay, on average, it's about a foot. Well, when they started actually digging, again, back here in this back corner, they had to dig down about 3 feet to get to the clay, at least in a small area back there. And that posed a few problems. We had estimated it was going to take about 10 loads of dirt to bring in here to build everything up, to get it level, because the site does drop off a little bit as you go into the back. But anyway, 10 loads of dirt was the estimation. Once they dug that out in the back, we knew it was going to take a lot more soil. And also, it was going to, we had to build it up a little bit higher, or the property dropped off a little bit more than I think any of us really estimated at first. So at the end of the story, it took 31 loads of what I'm going to call clay that they brought in here. It's actually a sandy clay, and it packs down real good and tight, makes a good firm surface to put a slab on. And that took a little bit longer than what we anticipated to take as well. Of course, 10 loads of dirt doesn't take long to haul in. 31 loads of dirt, having to go a couple of miles down to the clay pit to haul it in here. And then to the trucking company that was doing the hauling, they have 3 dump trucks, but on the days that they were hauling dirt for me, they were only able to send 1 truck over here. So, you know, these guys are getting a load of dirt in, having to wait 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour before another truckload can come in here. So it took a couple of days to kind of get the site built up. And that kind of threw off of our schedule on getting this done. Originally they told me they'd start on Monday and pour the concrete on Friday. Well, things rolled along. Friday got here and they just weren't quite ready. By the time Friday got here, they had the forms mostly put in. They had already dug the footers around here, getting it ready for the pour, but it really on Friday afternoon was when they finished that up, and they still need to come back and do a little bit more site prep before they did the pour. And then, on Thursday afternoon, we were saying, okay, Monday morning, Tuesday at the latest, we'll get the concrete poured. Well, then over the weekend, that last week, whenever it was, they had that hurricane that hit down in Mexico. And of course, it came across Texas, came across the U.S. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we were just socked in with weather here. It wasn't bad weather. We weren't having really a lot of wind. It was just kind of overcast. It was cloudy. We were getting a lot of drizzly rain. Fortunately, we didn't get any significant rainfall, but for 3 days, it was just messy out. And they didn't want to take the chance, and I agreed with them. They didn't want to come out here and start pouring and then get a little thunder shower pop up when they're trying to finish the pad out, which would ruin the finish. The concrete will dry in the rain, but you just won't get the finish we wanted for an inside shop. So Thursday, they came out and basically got everything finished up for the pour. Friday morning, they came in and did the pour. We was about a week behind schedule at this point, but hey, we're not really on a schedule. It's just whenever it gets done. But they came in, they started pouring at 5 o'clock in the morning. Fortunately, I live in a fairly rural area, don't have a lot of neighbors close by, so that wasn't a big issue. We're usually up early at our house. Anyway, we're usually up by 5, at least my wife is, and I'm usually starting to get up about that time as well. So no big deal. They came in at 5 a.m. They brought in some portable lights. Another little problem that we had to deal with was it's about, I don't know, maybe 40 yards from where the slab is here to the end of my driveway. And when they were hauling the dirt in, we were having some problems with the dump trucks wanting to sink down in the dirt. It's a little bit of a low spot between here and there. It's not real low, but it's an area that hasn't completely dried out, and the ground's just soft up there. And the dump trucks were sinking down. They weren't getting stuck, but they were sinking down. But they were really worried with the concrete trucks weighing more than the dump trucks that they would get a concrete truck stuck. And getting a concrete truck stuck is not a good thing, particularly when you got live concrete on there that's hardening in the cylinder as they're trying to dump it out. So we decided to bring in a pump truck to pump the concrete out. So the dump truck was able to stop at the end, or the cement truck was able to stop at the end of the driveway, and they put it on a pump truck and pumped it out in a 3-inch hose, which took a little bit longer, but we got the job done. By Friday evening, I actually was out here with them at 5 a.m. I had to leave about 9 o'clock that morning. I had some stuff I had to go out of town and do for the day. I didn't get back home until late that evening. And it was really too dark to see it when I got home, but I got home late that evening, came out here and looked at it, and we got a great looking slab. Everything looks good. They've already come in and cut the expansion joints. It's ready now for the building to be built. So also been getting some questions from you guys about cutting the trees. I'd mentioned that with the trees that we cut down here, we sawed up on the museum steam powered sawmill to help with the lumber. Now, so my plan is on the shop slash barn. It's going to kind of look like a barn. You know, at first I was kind of looking at a metal building. I said, no, I want a wood building. I want it to look like an old barn is what I really want. That's the kind of look I'm going for. And I really wanted to have the look of a timber frame building. And I considered very strongly building a timber frame building, but I knew if I did timber frame, I was going to have to do the work myself, and I just don't have time to do it, guys. As much as I would love to get out here, cut all those mortise and tenons and put this thing up myself, it's just, if I did that, it would take me 3 years to build the shop because I just don't have the time to do it, and I would basically have to devote all of my time to the shop. So I decided to go with a contractor, but we still wanted to have the timber frame look. So in the center of the building here, so about 18 feet down the center, there's going to be 8x8 posts that go up, and the building will go up and have kind of a clear story in the top with some windows, and then have 2 side sheds that go out about 12 foot on either side. So there will be posts running down the center of the building. And yes, I realize I'm going to probably lose a little bit of open space in here, but it's really what I want. I want to have that timber frame look. And we're not going to actually timber frame it. It's going to be more of a post and beam type construction, a little bit more modern construction, where we'll just have the post in here and the beams will be laying on top of them, and we'll tie them all in, just bolt them together. But still, it's going to give me that look that I personally want. So we decided with the logs that I had, I didn't have enough to really cut all the lumber for the building, but I did have enough to cut those 8x8 posts and beams, which there's quite a few of them that are going to be in here. And that's what we really concentrated on at the sawmill, was cutting 8x8s. It's taken me about 2 months of, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there, finding time to go out to the sawmill. But we've got all that lumber, it's cut, and this coming week, hope to get it down to have it kiln dried, and probably just going to go ahead and pressure treat everything just to make sure that I don't have any bugs or anything in them, in this timber on the inside. So, and then the outside walls are just going to be traditional stud frame. Of course, they'll be closed in. You wouldn't be able to tell if it was timber framed anyway, because it's all going to be closed in. But the center span is going to have that timber frame look going down through here. Just to, you know, I really don't have any. Everybody said, well, can you show me the plans? There are no plans for this, guys. I kind of gave my contractor, said, here's some pictures of what I want. And he said, no problem, we can build that. I did have an architect friend of mine kind of look at the structural part of the post and beam. He's done a lot of post and beam construction, building some barns around. He did not draw up a set of plans, but he did kind of help me draw up some just some schematics of how everything should go together, make sure that my spans were the right length and everything from a structural standpoint. So all that's been checked out by an architect, and I do have those little sketches, but really nothing that shows the layout or how the building is going to look, other than, you know, just some pictures that I've kind of showed us. So this is what I'm going after, this kind of a look. And I may throw a couple of those in just so you can kind of see. And it's not going to be exactly like that, but this is kind of the look that I'm going for. Once we get everything done, the size of the slab, it's 42 feet wide and 80 feet deep. And I plan on at the halfway point, which will be 40 foot in, so it'll be about right here. We got an expansion joint splitting it out. So the front half of the building is going to be my metal shop. My machine shop. I will probably also have a little small office area on this side. The back side of the shop is going to be my wood shop, and I wanted to have separation between the two just because I don't want the sawdust getting over into the metalworking area. So we're going to have basically two different shops put out here and be separated in half. And with 42 by 80, I should have a lot of square footage to work with, and I'm going to need it. I know that. You can't build a shop too big. Everybody's saying, oh, it's going to be too small. And you're right. It's probably going to be too small. Yes, it's big, but these things have a tendency of filling up. And my wood shop side, it's pretty much going to be full already. I've got the machinery and the equipment to pretty well outfit that side. Other questions people have been asking, what are you going to do? Because at the museum. So as I've mentioned before, the lathe at the museum belongs to the museum. The two milling machines out there are my personal milling machines. Most of the tools and stuff out there that I use in the videos are my personal tools. I'm not abandoning the museum. I still plan on doing work out there. I'm probably going to leave one of the milling machines at the museum, bring one of the milling machines home. I will be getting a lathe or two to go in here, as well as expanding my machine shop capabilities once I have the room to do that. But I do want to also continue to have the ability to do work out at the museum, because quite honestly, a lot of times, particularly when we're working on some bigger stuff, like we're working on steam locomotive, it's just a lot more convenient to be able to go over there and, you know, work on the locomotive, go inside, build the parts you need, and not have to drive 20 miles back and forth. So I want to continue to be able to have that, and you'll continue to see me working out at the museum a lot, I'm sure, but this will give me the ability to just walk out in the backyard and work on things during the week and the evenings and so forth, which is going to give me a lot more time to get into the shop, which is something I'm really looking forward to. So there you go, guys, a little quick update. Hopefully we can get our timbers all dried and ready to go in here in the next week or so. I've got a couple more phone calls to make first of the week. I think we've found somebody. By the way, getting 8x8 timbers kiln dried is not an easy task. We got plenty of lumber yards down here in South Georgia where I'm at. We grow pine trees as a commodity. So lumber business, I mean, every little town's got a couple of sawmills, lumber yards, it seems like, but they're all doing more dimensional lumber. And most of the people that are kiln drying wood aren't set up to do big dimensional stuff. Their kilns aren't set up to do big dimensional stuff. But we have found one place that I think is going to work with us on getting that done. And at the same time that I'm going to be doing this, we've also got some timbers that we've cut for the museum for a project they've got coming. We're probably going to just do it all together. We'll split the bill out where I pay for part of it, the museum pays for part of it, but probably do it all together because we've got all that pretty much out there. It all needs to have the same thing done. But anyway, I think we've got a place to take those, and hopefully they can get that done in short order. As soon as we get the timbers dried and ready, my contractors should be able to get in here pretty quickly and start erecting the rest of the building. So I'm really excited about that. There you go. That's what's going on with the shop. We'll talk to you guys later.